Let me bang, I man. Do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No for Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
MMA Roasted Podcast. We'll do a great show today. Like I was saying, Bill, sorry, man. I've been I thought I had COVID. I got the vaccine, but I just been sick like no other. And
the second shot did you in?
No, I got the second shot like a month ago. I don't know what happened. I'm just I've been sneezing and coughing. I had like 100.8 or something, nothing crazy.
Holy shit.
No, 100.8.
100.8. Okay.
Yeah, not 108. Yeah. So nothing crazy, but like my wife's like toughing up basically. And then I'm trying to watch the baby while that's going on, and just it's been a rough couple days, but it's okay. I'm here. We're here. Do a great podcast. We got a great show today. We got Grant Dawson, who's on a huge streak. He's the guy that won with 1 second left his last fight, which was insane. We have Tom Lawler, who's in the PFL. That guy had a crazy trip. He was in the UFC, then he got banned for oestrogen or something that he didn't know, and I believe him. But he's been a pro wrestler. He was in that Golden Boy MMA thing. Now he's in the PFL. He could win $1 million. So we have a whole, and then we have another guy who's fighting for the LFA this week, who's also a badass who wrestles for OSU, which is Tom Ryan. He's the guy that gave me the scholarship, which was I didn't take it, but Tom Ryan's one of the best wrestling coach.
Why didn't you take it?
Because the guy's name is Mark Showtime Martin. Because I thought that when I was in high school, wrestling was my entire life, and I thought if I went to college, I wrestled D1, it would just be my whole life again.
Yeah.
And if I go D3, then I could actually have fun in college at the same time wrestle, and it won't be my whole life. But
you wanted to crush some puss, and you thought that it'd be easier to crush puss.
Wrestling, I was wrong, because wrestling's the kind of sport, it's like all or nothing. There is no even D3 is basically 3 practices a day, working out, or 2 practices a day, cutting weight. If you want to be good at anything, there's no, especially with wrestling. Maybe basketball is different or football, but when you're wrestling D1, D2, D3, it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to be an All-American. So I learned that really quickly, and I kind of burned myself out. I was losing 18 pounds a week. I was coming in at 150 on Monday and weighing 134 with 16 pounds by Thursday, doing it all the wrong way. Talking about sleeping with 7 layers on, opening up the windows so I would shiver at night, just not eating Wednesday and Thursday, having salad sandwiches, spitting in a cup all week, wearing 2 rubber suits to go for runs. And the year that I did that, 2 kids died.
Holy shit. Not in your program, but
not my program, but in my league. One kid.
Oh, in your league.
Yeah, kids were wearing rubber suits, and they were wearing rubber suits. One kid was jump roping in the shower with a rubber suit, and he passed out. And another kid was on a bicycle with a rubber suit in the shower and passed out, which I didn't even think of that. I definitely would have done that. I might have
in a bicycle in a shower.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to be oh, that's so stupid, because I 100% would have done that.
Of course.
An option.
Now, don't you think that the colleges or high schools have any obligation to this bullshit at this point? Because at this point, everyone's being nicer and trying to protect everyone. Now that looks like abuse.
Well, they changed the rules. They changed the rules to after that they had a body percent fat thing where you can't get within you can't lose within 5% body fat or 6%, but it's still kids find the ways to do it. I think anytime it's hard, man. I think anytime you have sports where people weigh in and you have an advantage by being at a higher weight game time, kids are gonna do that. Even with this Ben Askren fight. I mean, he never should have agreed to fight at 190. He fought at 170. So he was fighting a guy that was 210, 215, and he was fat. He was a fat 170. I mean, he could have been 55, I think.
For sure.
I mean, he'll say no, but so, I mean,
have you talked to Ben since the Jake Paul fight?
I texted him and he texted back. He's such a good dude because I'm like, hey man, like Ben, that was a bad stoppage. At the same time, I'm thinking about it. It's probably a good stoppage. I don't want to see the guy get completely laid out. But hey, keep your head up. I love you and anything. And he wrote back like, thanks, man. How are you doing? Like his first thing is like, what's new with you? Like that's how Ben is. Like he just is in his own little planet, man. Like when he tweeted out during the thing, like this isn't family entertainment. Like because he really was thinking that. Like he has like his wrestlers and the families. Like I don't know, man. Ben is just he's a different kind of guy. I'm still angry that happened to him because I think
the stoppage. You think the stoppage is too early?
The whole fight. I think him going in there like not knowing really know how to box. It shows you how good you can be in MMA and not be a great boxer if you're a great wrestler or even a good boxer, even an average boxer. He's not even an average boxer. Like Ben Askren, it shows you how it used to be like they would argue, oh, what's the most important skill? I think this shows that wrestling is the most important skill.
Yeah, it used to be jiu-jitsu. It was created to show that jiu-jitsu was. Now wrestling is pretty much proven to be the dominant force in MMA.
Wrestling with grappling, because he would take you down and also submit you, a rear naked choke or whatever. But, I mean, I'm trying to think of one guy that ever crossed over really to either one. And now it's getting ridiculous because now they're saying that now – Jake, today it got announced that Logan Paul is going to fight Mayweather.
Yeah.
June 5th. And which is also crazy because they're saying that Logan can't weigh more than 190 and Mayweather can't weigh more than 160. Which, like, why can't you have to have a 30-pound
Yeah.
Like, why can't Mayweather get up to one? Like, is he going to be too out of shape? Why are we capping the lighter guy? That makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like what? Bill, talk to me about that. Because why can't he be 175 versus a 190 pound?
Like why can't they just make a catch weight? Well, because I think Floyd Mayweather's people try and prove like it doesn't matter how much bigger this guy is. I'm going to fucking school him.
Yeah, I know, but nobody cares. I'm curious as to why.
I see what you're saying.
Why are they capping Mayweather's weight? I could see why they're saying, okay, Logan can't weigh more than 190 because they want to be 230. Versus a 145 pounder.
I guess it's like a handicap in golf. It's a handicap for a black man. You know what I mean? You got to fucking like.
I mean, are they saying that like because if he weighs more than 160, then he'll be out of shape?
No, I think what they're saying is that like we get that this is a lopsided fight. And it's not a realistic, entertaining fight. So the only way to make it entertaining is to force a weight differential. It was like in the last Rocky movie where Stallone's fighting. He's like 68 years old and he's fighting. Yeah. The only way they had it realistic is the other guy's arm was like broken.
Right.
And you're like, okay, I guess if he's 60, he could be a guy who has one arm. It's like that.
I know. And he still lost. I just don't understand the cap on the smaller guy. I can see the cap on the bigger guy. But I don't understand the cap on the smaller guy. That makes no sense.
So what happens if he's 5 pounds over? They're like, "Sorry, fight's off. We got."
You're only 25 pounds lighter. That makes no sense to me. So that's going to happen. And now they're saying McGregor versus Jake Paul is going to happen.
I'd like that fight. I like that fight.
I mean, people are thinking that according to some poll, I don't know who they're polling. I mean, it's just like I never got a phone call about this. Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, I never get polled anyway. So like even on the election, on real polls, allegedly. But according to this poll, 30% of people think that Jake Paul can knock out Mayweather. I mean, he can knock out McGregor, which is like crazy because look, McGregor is not Ben Askren. McGregor trained for a fight, trained for Mayweather. He trained strictly boxing for a year. Yeah. So. And we got to think that he's been sparring for 10, 12, 15, I mean, however long he's been fighting.
Yeah.
So
wasn't he like an amateur boxer in Ireland too?
I think he was an amateur boxer in Ireland. So we got to think that, and he's a better athlete than Jake Paul. And he's stronger than Jake Paul. He's got a better right hand than Jake Paul. I don't see where Jake Paul has the advantage other than the fact that McGregor has been training Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. But I mean, McGregor was also training for Pacquiao. If you're training for Pacquiao, I don't see it. I mean, man.
But the point is, one of these YouTube fucks has got to go down. You know what I mean? For real. Like, it's enough is enough, man.
Well, BJ Penn said he wants, by the way, sorry that I'm sick. Like I said, if I'm off today, I apologize. BJ Penn also said he wants to fight. I don't want to see this.
I don't want to see that either.
Nobody, they can't, like, we got to have an intervention on this one. Like I said, like, he walks to the ring, the lights come on, it's his family and friends. We're all there, and we say, no, we can't let this happen. So, like, no.
That's a great way to do it. That's a great bit to do intervention on like someone who's too old to fight. Like make them think they're like stepping into the ring and then like let's go on guys. No.
I mean, we can't have
great.
I mean, BJ Penn got knocked down by his friend the other day. Like, remember that fat friend that knocked him down? He came back and won, but he would have lost the boxing match. I mean, he got down and choked him out. Man. So then, and then also Jake Paul tweeted out he was going to do a wrestling match on pay-per-view versus Askren. Now he's not because Askren's a loser. Okay, first of all, no one's ordering that pay-per-view. No one's ordering a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Second of all, Askren kills him in wrestling, but nobody cares. Everyone expects that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do hate these kids, but you know what? They're good. They got me into.
We're talking about them.
They got me talking about them. They're good. It's not even, but at least with like McGregor, these guys that like what annoy me sometimes. I respected the skill set. I guess I respect the skill set of Jake Paul. He works hard. He does this, but there's like he's not even like ranked. Like at least with McGregor, you're like, yeah, he's the best in the world. Jake Paul isn't in the top 500 boxers in his weight class in California.
You know what's crazy though? I mean, how many fights has he had? Like, what if Jake Paul, I'm just saying, I don't know anything about him. What if he just happened to be a prodigy?
Yeah, what if he pins Askren in wrestling? Like, what if Askren's in on it? And he's like, all right, give me another $500,000. I'll let you fucking throw me on my head.
What if he's
like a head arm?
He spars with Francis Ngannou, and Ngannou's like, that's the hardest punch I ever took. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Jake Paul, who knew?
Like, what if he knocks out McGregor? Like, what if, like, in the first round, he knocks out McGregor? Does everyone just quit watching MMA at that point? Does everyone just say, all right, fuck this? Can you
That's
imagine?
True.
Man, it's crazy. And the thing is, like, the whole thing just bothers me because, like, I've just been raised with, like, hard work. Yeah. Every fucking gig I took, I do every gig, whether it's in a laundromat, a supermarket, we do the road, we just grind. And then this dude, like, yeah, he works hard, but he also, like, has the best trainers, the best people. And then he parties with these Instagram models afterwards. Some of them have been to my show, these girls.
Yeah.
You talk about, like, expressionless. Like, they sit there on their phone the whole time. They don't even look up. And then, like, you would think they don't speak English. They don't laugh. Nothing changes. And then you go on their Instagram, and they have the hottest photos ever. Yeah. Like, it's just – anyway, Grant Dawson is here. He's a guy that is a badass fighter. I was worried for your last fight. I'm not going to lie. The last guy they threw in with you hadn't lost since, what, like 2011?
Yeah, it had been a while since he had a loss.
Diego Ferreira, right? And that was a good fight. I mean, I had him winning. The first couple rounds. It was close. Did you think he won the first two?
Personally, I had it 1-1 going into the third.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it. And then on the scorecards, I was actually up. I won both rounds on the scorecards.
Good.
So I figured it was close enough that if I'm winning on all three judges' scorecards, it was close enough. But no, it was definitely closer than it's been in most of my other fights.
Yeah. I had a 1-1 too, but I was also, like, nervous. And I think James Krause was nervous too.
Yeah.
You talk about James Krause is a guy, your coach is, like, I know people that have, like, went out with him. He's the most loyal guy to his wife, most loyal guy to his friends. He's a great father, great trainer. You talk about a guy who, like, is the best role model. He might have murdered, like, 7 people when he was younger, and that's why he had to make up for it. But what a great guy to have in your corner, man. And if you didn't, like, good for you. Anything to say about James Krause?
Oh, man. How long's your podcast? Because it's an endless amount. I mean, you know him personally. Like, he seems you know, he's kind of closed off to other people, to where it's like he doesn't let just anybody into his circle. You know, he's always friendly, but you can really tell when he's bought into a guy or somebody's bought into him, the amount of loyalty that he has for that person. I mean, go watch him when he wins a fight, and then go watch him when one of his guys wins a fight. When he wins a fight, it's like, whatever, you know, give me my check. And when his guys win the fight, it's like the end of, like, he's jumping over the cage, he's cheering. It's just, you can really see that he cares more about his people even than his own career.
Yeah, but I gotta say, Grant, I mean, you're a kid that, like, I knew you when you were like just getting into the UFC. You came to my show, you were this young kid, you had this hot girlfriend who looked like she was, I'm not gonna say she looked younger, because that makes me look like a pedophile. But she looked like a little kid. You guys look like a little cute couple, a cute little couple. And now here you are, like 5 fights later, and they put you in there with murderers, man. And every single time you're coming out looking like a stud.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, you know, I haven't fought anybody, but I fought an Ultimate Fighter winner. I fought the guy that was undefeated in the UFC, who had a win over Thiago Santos, and he beat GSP in a grappling match. I fought the former Cage World.
Name these people, please.
So Mike Trezano won the Ultimate Fighter. Not the last guy I fought. The guy before that, his name was Nad Narimani, and he was the Cage Warriors world champion. Say that 10 times fast. So, you know, he's really good too. I fought Derek Minner, who is a veteran, and I'm going to be honest with you, I train with Derek now, and he is one of the most talented dudes I have ever gone with. He's a lot better than people give him credit for. And then, you know, fighting Leonardo Santos, undefeated in the UFC, wins over Kevin Lee, Stevie Ray. Like, his list goes on, and he submitted GSP in a grappling match by flying armbar, which is incredible. So everybody's like, man, he hasn't fought anybody yet. It's like, you guys are a bunch of casuals. Actually look at the people that I fought.
Grant, you're doing the right thing. Do not get caught in any of that bullshit. Like,
yeah, why do you even read the comments, man? Don't even look.
Because I don't have enough followers yet to not see it, you know? Like, when somebody comments, I'm like, oh, one of my friends commented, and it's never one of my friends.
No, dude. First of all, Grant, look, I met you when you were working at an old age home.
Yeah.
For, like, old people.
What, Bellator?
Yeah, he was working. And like, I mean, look at you. 5 fights later, you're on what, a 5-fight winning streak?
Yeah. I mean, my winning streak's 8, but 8. In the UFC.
I mean, you're doing everything right.
But a 5-fight winning streak UFC should put you in line for a title. I mean, most of the time, like, that's the streak where you get the title shot at 5 fights. You know what I mean? How close are you to that?
I mean, I think I'm going to get a ranked opponent next. We're calling for Clay Guida, but I think they'll give me a ranked opponent, and we'll go from there.
It was so funny because I go, hey, man, great win. He goes, are you finally going to roast me now? And I was like, I'm going to wait till there's 1 second left. So
here's the thing, though. You roast all the famous people. And so when you start roasting me, that's how I know I've made it. So I'm like, come on, Adam.
I 1,000% will roast you. You're just you're right.
You need one more fight, Grant. One more fight.
And I've made it.
You have made it, man. Now, what did you think of the Askren Jake? I know we shouldn't talk about real fighting. What do you think about that fight?
The Jake Paul fight with Ben Askren?
Yeah.
Man, everybody's talking about this fight. Everybody's, you know, got their own opinions on this fight. I think this only makes boxing look bad. You know, everybody is saying, like, this makes the UFC look bad or MMA look bad, and I completely disagree with that. This is a YouTuber that is thriving in what is supposed to be considered one of the toughest sports in the world. So, and he's doing it by not beating up boxers. You know, people are saying, wow, he can legitimately box. When has he fought a boxer?
It also kind of show that boxing, it might be the least amount of skill that you need to win fights.
Absolutely. Because
he beat a guy that won 19 fights without even knowing how to throw a punch.
Right. And not to mention, just to talk about Ben Askren, one of my coaches came in and he was like, hey, your boy lost last night, because I was picking Ben to win. And I was like, yeah, he lost last night, and he still accomplished more in 3 different sports than you and I ever will. You know, he was in the top 10 of 3 different major promotions. He was champion in 2 of them, went on to the world teams in wrestling and now has made more money in boxing than you or I ever will. Like, who's making fun of this guy? Like, why are we
I still would have rather
him
him win. I still would have rather him win. I just don't know what he was thinking. Like, his goal was to prove that this guy sucks worse than him. And like, that's not a great. It's not a
His goal was to make $500,000.
I think he made more than that, actually. I think he made pay-per-view and that. So yeah, you're right. But
Probably over $1 million.
But do you think but don't you think his trainers, like, I love Woodley a lot and I love Biggie Mike, but shouldn't they have told him, like, yo, Ben, you don't really know how to box. Like, your punches don't really hurt. Your punches are based, like, the way he even stands is the guy throws a punch at him, he ducks, hits a double leg. Like, that's his boxing skills. So he never actually learned how to even turn his fist over. He was throwing, like, basically throwing rock'em sock'em robot. Shouldn't somebody have said to him, like, bro, this is not going to go well for you?
So here's my question for you. You are a very, very good comedian.
Yes.
Would you step into the boxing ring for $500,000 to pretty much $1 million?
Of course I would. But of course I would. Yes, of course I would.
I would step in the ring to blow another dude in the ring.
Hey, I tell everybody, hey, everybody's got your price. And they're all, I would never. And I'm like, $10 billion. And they're like,
but wouldn't you also know, like, I mean, Grant, don't you think that you would know this is not going to go well? Like, I think he really thought he was going to win.
Yeah, but that's just a competitor's mindset. When you've won as much as Ben Askren has won, he's going to believe in himself. And you got to remember that he's never tried to get good at striking. He's only tried to be good at wrestling. Even in his MMA, he doesn't strike. He gets good at wrestling.
Somebody told me one time, and this is allegedly, that he might have Asperger's, right? And that basically things don't register the way they do for other people. And like, I think he doesn't even care. Like, I'm not sure if he even has that capability of being embarrassed. Like, he's just like, fuck it.
He was embarrassed.
You think so?
Come on. He was definitely embarrassed.
He said the next day he had a barbecue at his house. And
that's called compensating. That's like if I premature ejaculate, I'm like, oh.
He played disc golf with his friends.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if he even cares. And if he does have Asperger's, fine. That's great. I'm not putting it down. I'm honestly not putting it down. I have a lot of friends who have on the spectrum or Asperger's. This is not. I think it's awesome. I think it's. Everyone is different. I don't know if he cares. I don't know if he cares. Grant,
your dad was in the background. How's your dad doing? I love your dad.
He's playing with my kid, but I don't know. I don't even. Should I even take that part of that podcast? Am I going to get flagged now for saying that I heard he has Asperger's?
No, not at all. Why? I don't think Asperger's isn't. You didn't say he was retarded. You said he might be on the spectrum. There's a difference.
So Grant, let's talk about the fights this week. Okay, UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal. Who do we like in this fight, Grant?
Usman. I mean, everybody is so quick to forget what happens. And that's one thing that I hate about this sport. Masvidal gets out-wrestled by every single wrestler that he's fought except one. And that was Ben Askren, who he knocked out in 5 seconds. And people think that he's got this, like, anti-wrestling whatever. Usman has the best wrestling in that weight class. He's bigger, he's stronger, and now he's got power and striking now that he's been working with Whitman. I think it goes exactly the same way as the first fight, and I'm even predicting a finish on Usman's part.
Bill?
I completely agree with that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know, man. I mean, every time though people count out Masvidal, he seems to come back. Remember when he knocked out Wonder Boy, right? Did he knock out Wonder Boy?
No, you're thinking of Darren Till.
Oh, Darren Till he knocked out. Yeah, Pettis knocked out Wonder Boy. He knocked out Darren Till. He beat Askren in 7 seconds. It seems like Masvidal is good when everyone counts him out. When everyone's depending on him is when he fucks up.
Yeah.
But when everyone's like, you know what? It's over. So maybe, and Usman, the last fight, everyone talked about how great he looked against Burns. He was getting rocked. He was getting fucking killed. I mean, that first round, I was like, whoa. So maybe
I will say, though, it is really hard to fight those guys that just come out and start throwing hammers. Like Burns had nothing to lose in that fight. He comes out, he just starts swinging like crazy and does well. I do think that he lost the first round and he was getting hurt and he's getting thrown around, but it's hard to fight those guys, man. And then that's why, smart fighters, and I'm not saying Burns isn't a smart fighter, but that's why we don't do that. You don't come out and just go crazy, because if you don't finish them, now it's the second round, you're tired and you've got 20 more minutes left to fight.
Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, it happened to me with Julian Erosa. It was my UFC debut. And I took him down, and I was so focused on just trying to hit him that he kept getting up. And I think there was like 16 takedowns in that fight. And I remember just being in the middle of the second round going, oh my God, like I've never been this tired in a fight before. I can't hold this dude down. He does not look tired at all. And I've still got 7 minutes left to fight. Luckily, he got tired in the third, and I was able to hold him down the rest of the third. But it's one of those things where, I think that Burns learned a lot from that loss, just like I learned a lot. I beat Julian, but still, like, I learned a lot in that fight about not just going crazy, because if you don't get the finish, you still got a lot of fight left.
Dude, there are so many times, like, in comedy where, like, I'm sure, Bill, like, you're doing a headliner set, an hour set, and the first 8 minutes, nothing. You're getting absolutely nothing. And, like, I'm trying, like, my best jokes, crowd work, and I'm like, all right, this could go two ways. I could either, like, just mail it in, phone it in, pick up my check, go home, or I can do everything that I possibly can to get them, because I know that I have an excuse. I always have excuses, like, oh, crowd sucked, the opener was too dirty, or it's fucking COVID happened, or
always never runs out of excuses.
But I know that in the back of my head, on that ride home, I'm gonna go be like, if I'm honest with myself, going, it was my fault. This is all my fault. I could have done better. So I know I don't want to have that conversation with myself in my head. So but I hear you, man. Have you ever had that, Grant, where, like, even sometimes if you're winning, you're like, I can coast for a victory, but I know in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, I could have went for the finish?
That happened in my Nad Narimani fight. I was clearly up 2 rounds. I had a 10-8 round in the second round. We knew there was no way I was going to lose. And I told myself, like, hey, I'm going to strike with this guy. And we spent the entire round striking, and I felt like I could have pushed for a finish, or I could have gotten a finish if I wanted to. And like you're saying, on the way home, I was like, oh, I was just trying to get comfortable striking, or, oh, I just wanted to work on my striking. But in my heart, I know that if I had put forth the effort, took him down, I could have gotten the submission. So it's kind of a battle to where it's like, I got better at striking. That is a plus, but I also didn't get the finish. And I could have gotten the finish if I had gone back to grappling. And so, I feel like there's pros and cons to both.
So we got filthy Tom Lawler joining us. You know him, Grant?
Tom Lawler, yeah.
Yeah. He's actually he's on the podcast too. He's in the PFL now. Are you going to watch the PFL tomorrow night?
I am, for sure.
Yes. Okay, people. Let me tell you about PFL tomorrow night. Okay, 2 ways to watch it. Where to watch the fights? At 9 o'clock on ESPN2. Okay, the prelims start at 5:30 on ESPN+. 5:30 ESPN+. ESPN2, 9 o'clock. Filthy Tom Lawler. I'm so happy for this guy because, Grant, you had an easy road. You went right to the UFC. Contender, UFC didn't have to struggle, all right? But this guy, and I'm gonna get you out of this one right here. Filthy Tom, okay? This guy went on The Ultimate Fighter, made it on The Ultimate Fighter, actually lost in The Ultimate Fighter, came back up, beat CB Dalloway. They gave him Aaron Simpson. They gave him all these guys. They hit the fight Chris Weidman. And that was the fight, actually, no disrespect, Tom, that I actually texted Dana White or somebody after that Weidman fight. I go, this guy is going to be champion. Not you. Not that you're not going to be champion, but I'm like, Chris Weidman is the next big thing because I knew how good you were. And I was like, Chris Weidman is a fucking – did you realize when you fought Chris he was going to be the next big thing?
No, and I still think he sucks. How about that?
I actually agree with Tom.
I had a bad night.
Yes.
One of the worst nights of my life.
Of course.
My friends were all hammered all day. They were eating hot wings at some fucking place in downtown San Jose, and they ruined my day, and it carried on the whole night.
Oh, fuck that.
Chris Weidman went out there. I mean,
it was lucky.
I'm one of the few people, Adam,
yes,
who probably can say they slept with a UFC champion in front of a lot of people because Chris Weidman put me out in like 2 minutes there. So,
well, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter where you start; it's where you end up. and you're gonna win the $1 million this year in the PFL.
Hell yeah!
Because you've been grinding. You got that bullshit steroid thing where you did you took a smoothie and then you got tested.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. It wasn't even steroids.
What was it?
It was Ostarine, the very dangerous SARM Ostarine. I had 0.17 picograms in my system. You want to talk about throwing a hot dog down a hallway, right? I mean, that's really, really a low level. Lower than John Jones, lower than anybody.
Yeah, and then they banned you for 2 years. Then when there's like a month left, they kick you out of the UFC. What a bunch of nonsense. I mean, and here you are, you're still grinding. You're still grinding. He looks great. I watched this guy train over at Syndicate. You're a pro wrestler as well. Great. We're going to talk about that for a second. And you're killing the game, man. So what made you join the PFL, by the way?
I mean, how can you say no when somebody goes, hey, do you want to fight somebody and you have an opportunity to win $1 million? Now, I mean, you got to win 4 fights this season, and you got to do it in somewhat easy or quick and spectacular fashion to get enough points. But when you have an opportunity like that on your plate, what can you say? You can't say no.
You can't say no.
What are you doing?
My daughter's in the other room. My dad came to watch her. I'm sick. It's hard, man. So they got you where are you right now? Are you in Atlantic City?
Yeah, I'm in Atlantic City. I can see the boardwalk. I can see people hanging out in the pool. Unfortunately, they're not much to look at here on the East Coast, but you know, I'm here in the Ocean Casino. Yes. It seems nice, but I've only been on like one floor, so I can't really confirm nor deny.
So when are you actually fighting?
I'm fighting next Thursday, PFL 2. So the season will start tomorrow, PFL 1, headlined by Anthony Pettis and Clay Collard. It'll be downstairs in this hotel. I don't think I even get to watch it live. I think I'll be watching it on TV like everybody else. But next Thursday is the day that I'm looking forward to.
So let's give some predictions. Who do you like, Pettis or Clay Collard?
I'm gonna go with the upset.
Wow. Clay Collard right here. Grant Dawson.
No. No contest. That's the real upset.
Grant Dawson, who do you like? Right.
I'll take Collard.
Well, over Anthony Pettis, over the former UFC champion, former WWE
I'm going with
champion.
The upset. Hey, I like what I saw in the boxing ring. I know he's coming off of a couple of decision losses, but I think if Pettis stands with him, he might be in trouble.
Grant Dawson?
I'm just going to say, if that fight goes to a no contest in any way, we need to hire Tom as the new matchmaker, the new odds predictor, whatever, because that's nuts. I got to go with Pettis, man. I think that I don't think he's going to win the tournament. I think Nathan Schultz is going to be too much for him. And then Loki in there, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is the guy who got second place last year. Those two guys are just savages. But I definitely think that Pettis will get through this guy and end up having to fight one of them, and those guys are just going to beat him. I think that those guys are just terrible matchups for Pettis.
Now, we talk about MMA guys that went into boxing. Clay Collard went into boxing and started knocking out, like, prospects. They were bringing him in as, like, the dummy, and he was like, no, fuck that. I don't like this script. So good for him. Now, you fought, Tom, for De La Hoya. You were in that amazing Golden Boy Chuck versus Tito 7. I remember watching that live, and when they went to footage of Chuck Liddell getting out of the car, everyone was like, "Oh no!" Like he needed like a ramp to get into the arena. Did you see that going? This is not going to go well. What were you thinking then?
Yeah, I actually thought that they were going to bring him out of like the back of the van with the where it lowers down and he's in a chair. I was on that show. You're talking about Oscar De La Hoya. He's been the butt of a few jokes this week due to his performance on Triller. And I just remember that he didn't even show up at that fight. Right? He wasn't even at the event that he put on. Unfortunately, I had a decision loss on that fight. I mashed my hand into pieces on Deron Wynn's face and couldn't fight for a while. But I remember going in the back, and after that fight was over, the Chuck Liddell fight, I looked at my coach, John Wood, and I said, John, I wasn't that bad, was I? And he goes, no, it wasn't like that. So
that was a great fight. That was a killer fight, by the way. They were calling Deron Winn the next big thing. I think if he gets to his natural weight at 125, he'll be. I mean, it's like someone left Cormier in like the dryer, and then he came out. But he's actually a good fighter. I mean, he's a really good fighter. He's a great wrestler. But you yourself, man, I think you get overlooked. I was looking up your stats. You were a Division II national champion, right?
No. I wrestled the NCAA, which is the club program. But most of the competitions were open tournaments. And I defeated, NCAA Division II All-Americans, guys who were qualifying for the NCAA 1 Nationals at the time. So when I graduated from college, I was actually a pretty good wrestler. But that was like, what was that, 15 years ago?
You wrestled at 235?
Yeah, well, I was wrestling heavyweight at all of the open tournaments. So, my senior year, I was taken down in 52 matches. I was taken down 2 times. One was by Mike Faust, who was a wrestler at Virginia Tech. He was like the heavyweight, and I think he went on to coach at Iowa. I think he might have taken 4th that year in the NCAAs. And the other one was a guy, Rashard Goff, who was a heavyweight at Cleveland State, who was he at least qualified for the Nationals one time. But I remember he at a tournament, he standing cradled me within like the first 30 seconds of the match, and I came back to beat him like 14-12 or something in overtime. But those are the only 2 times I was taken down that year. I beat guys from Central Oklahoma, guys from plenty of D1 programs, Navy, Duke, North Carolina. I could run down the list if I went back and looked. But yeah, I felt really good with my wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's 16 years ago. Now I'm a pro wrestler. So
yeah, I know. Your pro wrestling's fun too. Do you have any goals to make it to the WWE or AEW?
WWE is not in my future. I don't think. You mentioned my stint in the UFC. I kind of find myself on the bad side of promotions every once in a while. I remember going into the Golden Boy fights, and they had like meetings backstage with the commentators before the show went on, and they start asking us questions like, what do you see? What do you think about yourself, the promotion? And I was like, look, you guys dropped the ball on this one. All you've been doing is promoting 2 old guys, right? We know Chuck can't fight. I'm like, you've got Efren Escudero fighting on this show, a former tough winner, trying to have his own redemption story. He was fighting Gleison Tebow. You had myself, a professional wrestler, taking on one of the top amateur wrestlers at the time, Deron Winn. And this was stuff that they didn't promote at all. And I started throwing that, at them. And the guy kind of like, whoa, hey, what's going on here? So, I'm a little bit too outspoken for my own good sometimes. And quite frankly, if you watch like the WWE, I wouldn't be able to do what I want under that realm. And it's also one of these things like, I'm sure you get asked all the time, like, hey, don't you want to be on SNL? Or, don't you want to do something like that? And it's like, the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah, no. Are you in wrestling, do you go out as Filthy Tom, or do you have another?
Yeah, I've now reached the point where I am unapologetically myself. I wish I could come up with a different character like Adam Hunter, multiple time amateur wrestling champion. But unfortunately, I've used my real name up until this point.
No, dude, some of the things, Grant, I don't know if you remember. Grant, are you sleeping?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not talking about you right now, okay?
No.
I know it's all about you with the freaking millennials. But do you remember watching Tom come out with, like, a bondage? Like, he came out, like, you had some of the funniest entrances I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know if Bill, remember this? He used to come out first as, like, Hulk Hogan. Then he came out as Dan Severn. Then, like, you came out with, like, it was, like, some kind of S&M thing. My favorite, though, was there was
Adam. It was a dog collar.
Oh, okay.
I was fighting CB Dollaway. Seth Petrozelli had me on a dog leash, leading me down to the ring. But I don't want to get it twisted because the S&M thing is something I do in my own time.
Okay, got you. Yeah,
But
I
doesn't
remember
that
that.
involve dog collars? Doesn't S&M involve dog collars? I'm like, it's not S&M. It's dog collars. It's bestiality. Different. I don't
And I
understand.
remember getting a dog collar, and they
Whoa.
just show you walking with a dog collar, and they acted as if it was totally normal. They were like, "Oh, here comes Tom Lawler," and I'm like, "We're just not going to address the fact that he has a dog collar on him and is on all fours barking. Like, we're just going to totally overlook that. Like, that's." And then that one time there was a really bad wrestling promo, the Shockmaster, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen this, Bill or Grant. Grant, do you watch WWE?
I do not.
All right, you're a loser. All right, there was a guy who the Shockmaster. The guy came out, and it was like the worst promo of all time. Like he tripped and fell over the wire and went through the wall. The other wrestlers were kind of laughing at him. And you did that, right? You came out as a Shockmaster?
Yeah, correct. That was a deep burn. Not a lot of people got that one. And for some reason, this was like the one time in UFC history. I remember the fight was in Montreal, and they had some weird setup at like a nightclub for the weigh-ins. And it was like the one time where you come right out of the curtain, and for some reason there was a lip there, just like when the Shockmaster did. I couldn't believe it when I got there. I was blown away. They had the perfect setup for me to do that. So that was one of my favorites, but not a lot of people got that one.
Yeah, but it was epic. All right, so let's talk about the next fight, PFL. Nathan Schulte versus Martin Held. Grant, who do you like in this fight?
Nathan Schultz. He's won it twice now, and I think he's the best 155er outside the UFC.
Tom?
I'm going to agree. I'll probably get myself in trouble because my wife and her family are Polish, but I'm going to go against Marcin Held, and I'll take Nathan as well.
All right, Bubba Jenkins, Lance Palmer. Filthy Tom.
Lance.
Grant?
Lance, easy.
Easy? Come on, this is Bubba
Easy.
Jenkins. This is national champion Bubba Jenkins.
We ain't
Brave
wrestling.
champion as well, I believe.
Brave champion as well. All right, and then we also let's have Mulvid Kabulaev versus Lazar Sarjinovic. Do we know those guys?
I'm not familiar.
Mavlid.
Did you say Mulva?
I did say Mova, but I meant Mavlid. And now Phil. By the way, Tom, who are you fighting first?
I'm fighting Antonio Carlos Jr.
Oh,
next week.
wait, Shoeface?
Yep.
Wow, he's the guy, by the way, that submitted Gary Tonin with a flying. Right? He had a flying something on him, flying triangle in grappling. You
You trying to scare me?
No, I'm just telling you what's going on.
When did he do that with Gary Tonin?
He did that a while back.
Oh, so it wasn't during a MMA fight. It was
No, it was like during some an EBI thing or something.
Okay.
So, all right, fighting Shoeface. That's a good fight, man.
I don't know if you've seen the setup for the PFL this year, but they have a ton of screens and stuff around the cage. So if he tries that, I may be able to launch him over the top of the cage into one of these lighting trusses that's up there.
Got it. Now, real quick, Conor McGregor wants to. They're saying he might box Jake Paul McGregor. Grant, who wins that boxing match?
Against Jake Paul and Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Conor McGregor.
Like 1 round knockout?
No, I don't think a 1 round knockout. I think you get him in the third. But dude, he boxed Floyd Mayweather, and I know Floyd was fucking around, but he did well with Floyd. You know, it took him 10 rounds to get him out of there. You're talking about the greatest boxer of all time in most people's opinion against a YouTuber. Like, come on, man.
Stop calling him a
Conor McGregor.
YouTuber. He was a good high school Ohio wrestler. All right, we got to stop calling.
I'll take that dude down and spank him.
Filthy Tom, who do we like? McGregor versus Jake Paul in boxing.
I mean, I guess I'll take McGregor. I had given that one absolutely no thought. It's not gonna happen anyways.
Well, they're having
won't
Logan Paul versus Mayweather June 5th, but
Yeah,
Logan can't weigh more than 190, and Mayweather can't weigh more than 160, which is like I don't know why they're capping out the bottom guy. That makes no sense. Like,
Right?
right?
What?
Yeah. Like what?
That's to make sure that he actually trains for the fight.
Is that what it is?
Maybe. I don't know. He doesn't need to.
But like, why? I understand capping the top guy, but like that makes no sense to cap the bottom guy. All right, so this week UFC, Usman Masvidal. Grant already picked Usman. I'm going with the upset in Masvidal. I don't know why. Filthy Tom, who do we like?
You know what? I'll take Masvidal too.
What?
He's been around. Hey, I like to bet with my heart. I'm not one of these guys that makes any.
You look like a
money when I go to
Masvidal
the
fan.
casino.
You look like a Masvidal fan.
Thank you.
I mean that a good way.
All right. Shevchenko versus Andrade. Bill Dawes, who do we like in this one?
Shevchenko, of course.
Grant?
I mean, unless she's Nunes, she's not going to lose.
Grant?
Shevchenko.
Tom?
Shevchenko.
Yeah, me too. I like that too. It seems like Andrade just can't be technical strikers, which is what Shevchenko is. Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas. Tom?
Oh, Zhang. I think it's her all day.
You love communists, you bastard.
Listen, that's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life.
Grant?
Come on.
You can do something, right?
Weili Zhang.
Yeah.
I finished.
Okay. By the way, how's Megan Anderson doing since her loss?
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
She hasn't been to the gym?
She had surgery on her nose and I believe her shoulder as well. So she's been recovering from that.
Whoa.
From that fight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Amanda's a bad bitch, man.
Wow. That's crazy. I want Pena to win, though. I really want her to win. I like Pena a lot. That's going to be a tough one, though. Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman, Bill Dawes.
God damn. I just like Uriah. I like Uriah Hall, but I don't like either of them as fighters.
You like him as people?
Like Uriah Hall seems like a nice guy. Like he cries when he hurts people, and Chris Weidman just strikes me as boring and annoying. I don't know.
I was hanging out with Uriah Hall like after the MMA awards 2 years ago, and it was the year when Stylebender won like all the awards. And people kept congratulating Uriah Hall on winning, and I had to tell him why. Like he's like, why do people keep congratulating me? And I'm like,
systemic racism and policing.
I was like, because they think that you're Stylebender, and the look of just disappointment in his face was just like, I was like, I know, dude. Don't get mad at me. I didn't, but man, that was rough. So Tom, you like Weidman or Uriah Hall?
I'd like to go to bed feeling good about myself on Saturday, so I'm going to pick Chris Weidman.
Because he beat you?
Exactly.
Okay.
But you don't like Weidman, so why do you want him to win?
I can separate my personal feelings from business
sense.
in this case.
Got it.
I don't dislike Weidman.
I was going to say, there a reason you don't like Weidman?
He's a typical New York guy, you know? On
What's
the
wrong with
surface, like Adam said, or somebody said he's annoying. You know, I'm from New England. So, you know, when you're faced with two New Yorkers, you don't really want to pick either one of them. But I'll take the guy that whipped my ass in front of millions of people. So
now, Tom, what are the difference between wrestling fans and MMA fans?
A chromosome.
Going which way?
They're going down on both sides, actually.
What gets you the ability to crush the most puss? Is it WWE or MMA? What's better for getting the ladies?
He's in a different way. Yeah.
I mean, I'm married, but it's definitely MMA. There's no question about that.
Well, he's an indie wrestler.
Listen, you go to like a pro wrestling event, especially the ones that I'm doing, you wouldn't want to touch what's in that crowd most of the time. You know, whether it's man or woman. At least when you go to MMA events, there's people like getting dressed up and getting dolled up. You don't see that. You see people at wrestling events getting dolled up in like ICP makeup. You know, which hey, sometimes it's up my alley.
Dude,
but
I've never seen anything like indie wrestling. The crowd just curses out the wrestling people, and then wrestlers curse them out back. Like it's a full-on like argument. Like fuck you, I fuck your wife, and you fuck yourself. Like just like strictly, and there's nobody to tell anyone to quiet down. Like that's part of the show.
I've had so many fans, you know, yell at me, and like guys will go, "Hey, suck my dick," and I go, "Hey, whip it out. Go ahead. Let's see what you got." Right? And nobody ever takes the bait.
But what if they do? What if they do? What if somebody says, "Okay, what are you gonna do?"
You got to honor your word.
Well, yeah, he's got his back against the
Hey,
wall
I wear knee pads to the ring for a reason.
Dude, there was a guy that like his move was like to have the other wrestler grab his cock and then he would go like this and then the guy would like do flips. He had like the greatest penis ever. But no, we can't talk about that guy because my friend wants to fight that guy. All right.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Redacted.
Okay.
Persona non grata now.
Okay. We're
in the wrestling world.
Laughing at this? Oh, sorry about that. All right. So
is she getting ready to clean the pipes soon too, or what?
I don't. Yeah, my wife. Anyway. All right.
That's your wife?
No, that's not my wife. That's not my wife. So Jimmy Crute is taking on Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is the nicest guy I've ever met. Like, he's one of those dudes that, like, I remember interviewing him back when he was, like, in, I don't know, VCW or some kind of, and I was like, hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. He goes, thanks for giving a shit about my fights. Like, and he's a guy that never forgot that. Like, he's just a good human being. Love Anthony Smith. I don't know anything about Jimmy Crute, but anytime he fights, I'm going to root for Anthony Smith. Do you know Anthony well, Tom Lawler?
Jimmy Crute's good. I'm going to take Jimmy Crute just because I think Anthony Smith he's been like fighting too much. You know what I mean? He's fought a lot and he's had a lot of wear and tear.
Well, he also fought a guy that broke into his house. Even that guy that broke into his house, there was a meth addict, tried to rob him. And like Anthony fought him, but it was only like a 10-9 round. It was like a close fight or something. Grant, you know what I'm talking about, Grant? Some guy broke into his house.
Yeah, I know Anthony really well because we're both from Nebraska, and when I was an amateur, he would be at all the shows that I was fighting at, and so he still had like 100 more fights than me at that point in his career. But he told me about that. He said that meth addict was the toughest fight he's ever been in. He's like, I hit that dude so hard it hurt my hand, and he was just like eating it like nothing. And I was like, man, meth's a hell of a drug.
Oh my God, dude. Anthony Smith is so. I mean, man, that's crazy.
Is that why you had a tough time with John Jones?
Well, it was after that when he tweeted that was one of the toughest fights that he's ever had. John Jones retweeted him and was like, "Excuse me, I think he was on. That.
I think he was on painkillers for the John Jones fight. Like, I think that he was like, if you look at that fight in slow motion, I think he hurt. I know from some sources that he hurt himself pretty bad. And they put him on painkillers before that fight.
Anthony?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which is why he was in slow motion for that fight. It makes sense. Like, that was not the same Anthony Smith that fought other people. But
I mean,
yeah,
that you got to give the credit though to John Jones on that one, man. Like,
what?
Well, like you say, like, look at what people are saying about Gaethje fighting Khabib. They're like, that wasn't the real Gaethje. It's like, no, Khabib is just that fucking good, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think that Anthony Smith could have fought better, but John Jones is just that good, you know?
He is that good. I mean, he is that good. I don't know if he's ever going to lose. Like, if he –
Francis.
I don't know. What?
Francis.
Tom, who wins that fight, him or Francis?
I mean, I can't – Francis has at least lost before, right?
That's true.
I mean, sure, John Jones lost to Matt Hamill, but
no,
I don't know if we can count that.
It doesn't count.
But, yeah, I can't.
What's up, guys? BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. I mean, football might be over, but the NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards. I mean, how cool is that? TV shows and reality TV, which I love to watch. They got real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, the scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. So head to the website and use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So don't sit on the sidelines anymore, huh? Don't be that guy or girl. Get in on the action. Don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So visit our good friends and exclusive partner at betonline_AG. Take advantage of the best bonuses in the business. Sign up for a free account and use the promo code CLNS50 for your sign-up bonus. Use the hashtag BetOnline.
2 fights. I thought that Thiago Santos was going to get a split decision on him. I thought that he eked that out. And then I thought Dominic Reyes won the first 3 rounds with him pretty convincingly. You know, he couldn't take him down. He did all the damage, got him running away, and then lost the last 2. And John still pulled that one out. So I'm just thinking bigger, longer guys seem to give him trouble that have decent power and explosiveness. And that's Francis, you know, with an extra 30 pounds. That's my argument on that fight.
Matt Hamill, I remember watching Matt Hamill wrestle in college for the month I wrestled in college. He was a D1 stud, All-American. Then he went D3 to go to a school that had like mostly deaf people, and he was just killing everyone in D3. You saw the difference when the D1 guy goes D3. But I remember watching Matt Hamill one time in WSOF. They had Matt Hamill on. Then they had a crime fighter on. A guy. Remember that guy that like?
Oh, Phoenix Jones.
Phoenix Jones. He dressed up as a superhero at nighttime and like beat people up. Then they had 2 brothers fighting each other. Remember
He was one of them.
He was one of them, yeah. Then they had a guy with 1 arm fighting, but they didn't even like act like this was anything. Like this was kind of funny. All I can think about is if somebody didn't know fighting, it was like changing the channel, and they were like, "The fuck kind of promotion is this?" Like,
there's a dude
like
that dressed up and fought crime.
Yeah, there was a guy in Seattle. He was at night. He remember like that movie that came out where they were like they dressed up as superheroes and they fought crime.
Kick ass.
He was like a real life kick ass. Like that was
like he legitimately like dressed up and used his MMA for good.
Yeah, but he had no ground game in real MMA. He was only good on the street.
Grant, the deal is in Washington and Oregon, they have a thing called like mutual combat, where if both people agree to fight, you can fight on the street. So what he would do is he'd go like find where there's going to be fights, right? And he would like step in and like, you know, try to put a stop to these guys. And then they matched him up. I'd have to look and see who his brother was, but it was his stepbrother. And they matched him up at a World Series of Fighting. And they go and do like the pre-fight interview, and they start questioning him. And the guy is just like, he's like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't know why we're doing this fight. Just like totally detached from the whole thing. So what a life that guy led.
I've never heard that story before. That's
no,
nuts.
Ray Sefo knows how to have an organization. I remember when I wrestled, there used to be the blind kids. Remember, like you wrestled the blind guy, you had to like touch him at all times. Well, so they had kind of an advantage because they used to wrestle people that weren't blind, but they made it so that you couldn't like get behind them and tackle them. Yeah. You know, which I thought that would be kind of funny. Like I'm watching like if I see a blind kid like just kind of like, and somebody just like fucking 3 points stands and just tackles them. I mean, it wouldn't be fair, but entertaining. You know,
I used to try to use that on dates as well. I'd be like, you know, these are the rules. I'm blind. You're gonna touch me at all times.
I thought you meant tackle him from behind.
That too. Randy Brown taking on Alex Oliveira, Cowboy. Randy Brown's a good fighter. So is Oliveira. I feel like Oliveira's like got to be like 90 years old at this point, right? That guy just looks old. Doesn't he have he has an old face?
He's an old soul.
But I hope Randy Brown wins. I remember Randy Brown getting knocked out like from top. Remember the elbows? That one guy he fought, the guy from Fort Myers.
Nico Price.
Price. Yeah, where you grew up. I can't see you as a Fort Myers guy. By the way, Naples. It's all like swingers and like MILFs there, and Tom Lawler. Like, how much damage did you do out there?
Well, I was like 17 years old, so a ton.
Brendan Allen is fighting Carl Robertson. That should be a good fight as well. Roberson. And then Tristan Connolly. I don't even know. Dwight Grant's on the card versus Stefan Skulak. Do you know these guys? Pat Sabatini versus Tristan Connolly. I don't even know some of these people.
Tristan Connolly's the guy who's like, he beat Michelle Pereira, but it was way smaller. He hasn't fought since that fight.
Yes, the guy from Canada. That guy Pereira.
I'll take Conley.
Yeah, against Pat Sabatini. But yeah, so I mean, Logan Paul doesn't win a round against Mayweather, right? Does he get knocked out?
Yes.
Yeah. Tom, what do you think?
He's got to, right?
Yeah, I mean, did you pick Ben Askren for the fight to win the fight? Tom?
I refrained.
Now, Grant, are you married yet or what?
No, not yet.
What are you waiting for?
You're too young. Stay single. Don't listen to these assholes who are
He's
married.
not single. He's been with the girl for 12 years.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, what are you waiting for, asshole?
It's been 3.5 years, so
She's a pro fighter.
she's a baddie.
She's, what are you waiting for?
I'm trying to buy my own house right now, or us a house, and then we'll see.
Yeah. Can you pass her guard during sex? How good is her ground game?
She's better on top.
Got it. And then, Tom, what does your wife do?
My wife's a bartender at the Paris casino.
Oh, she's got to be smoking hot.
Yeah.
She's a former French national champion gymnast.
Oh.
Oh, my God. What, is
Hold on, guys. It's French.
Is this your Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Her mom was in the Olympics 3 times for gymnastics. So
Did she also try out for Cirque and shit like that?
she was in Le Rev.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
if you've ever seen that show.
What, was this your Make-A-Wish Foundation? How did you get this one?
Yeah, actually it was. John Cena's the one that hooked it up.
Really? No.
Yeah.
How did you get her?
You want to know? You want to know how I met her? Plenty of Fish.
Really?
Swear to God.
She was on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, I was having surgery done. I had an ACL, MCL, meniscus tear during a fight in 2013 against Michael Kuiper, and UFC sent me out to Vegas to get surgery. And I was doing the same thing I was doing down in Naples for a little bit, and then was on Plenty of Fish and met my wife, and that was pretty much it.
Now, that didn't kind of alarm you that a girl that hot was on Plenty of Fish?
Hey, listen, I'll take what I can get. I was going to ask too many questions.
Good point. And then, Grant, how did you meet your wife?
She's a MMA fighter as well, so she had fought on our show a couple of times, and I'd always thought she was smoking. And she added me on Snapchat one day, and I hit her with one of the best lines, a man can hit a woman with, and that was, "So when's your next fight?" And it was love ever since. But I actually have a funny story about her if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So I was dating this one girl for the girl that I dated before her for like 3 years, and or like 2.5, whatever. And we went to a fight, and she trained at the gym with my current girlfriend. And so she was kind of just introducing me to the group, and she was there with one of her friends. And so my girlfriend now, who I'll just call them by their names, Elle, and her friend go and sit, with their group, and me and my girlfriend at the time were sitting together. And I was just trying to piss her off, and I was like, "You're gonna end up sleeping with that guy in the gym, and I'm gonna end up sleeping with that girl," talking about Elle. And that exactly happened. She ended up cheating on me with that guy, and then I ended up getting together with Elle, and we've been together ever since. And I tell her that story, and she thinks it's hilarious.
Look at you, Mr. Grant. I like it. Well, our final guest of the show, Mark Martin. Now, you guys are Grant's obviously a stud in the UFC. Tom Lawler's going to win $1 million. This guy's in the LFA. He's fighting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Mark Martin, former Ohio State wrestler under Tom Ryan, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the guy that gave me the scholarship, but I didn't take it because I was an idiot. When he wrestled for Hofstra. He was coach at Hofstra. But
okay.
But you're obviously a badass. 5-1 record. Only lost a split decision, which I thought was bullshit. I thought you won that fight. I didn't actually watch it, but I'm just saying that. Mark Martin, how are you, man? Are you ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. I'm you know Mikey Hamill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm chilling with him right now.
Nice. So you train over at the lab in Arizona?
Yeah.
Nice. Who are some of your training
I've been
partners?
there for 3 years. What's up?
Who are some of the guys you're training with?
So for this camp, Hot Sauce was Hot Sauce?
Yep.
Yeah, he was in town. Trace, I don't know if you know Trace yet.
Trace, yep.
Ben, what's the last name? Goodwin. Ivy Nixon. So yeah, those are a couple of the sparring partners I've been going with.
Now you're fighting a tough Brazilian guy. You're a great wrestler with some fucking explosive power. What's the plan for tomorrow night?
To mix it up, I'm pretty well rounded now. At first, I was more of a athletic wrestler earlier in my career, but I'm starting to develop some stand up skills and some grappling as well. So I'll be comfortable wherever.
Nice. Any advice, Tom Lawler, for Mark Martin?
Win.
Right
Quickly.
now. Win and quickly.
like
Grant
that.
Dawson, any advice for this young up-and-coming stud, Mark Martin?
I actually have some better advice for him than Tom did. Mine is win faster.
Win fast.
Okay, all right.
Win
I like
faster.
that.
Now, how are you confident in everywhere at the hands? What belt are you in jiu-jitsu?
What's that?
What belt are you in BJJ?
So I just train no-gi right now. I always say after my fights, I'm gonna get in the gi, but I train a lot of no-gi though.
Got it. Now,
Do they not belt people at all with no gi? I mean, I know there isn't a belt in no gi, but do they still have a belt system in no gi?
Nah, I guess if you like a D1 wrestler or something, like you supposed to be like an automatic blue belt or something, like if you try to compete. So I haven't competed yet. But
now you were a 2-time state champion of Ohio. You were a FILA national champion. You made the nationals D1 4 times in a row. I mean, you got a high wrestling background. For a while, you were known as just like, you're right. Everyone was like, don't wrestle you. How hard was it to make the transition to MMA?
I mean, I definitely took my licks in the gym at first, especially on Wednesdays when it's just kickboxing, so I can't wrestle my way out of certain positions. But I mean, that forced me to improve. You got killers like, Ben and Jerry and Mike and David Mashad, and Kyle Stewart, just a whole team of killers. So it forces you to improve.
Now, Arizona has some of the hottest girls that put out. How hard is it for you to not get distracted? Because a lot of guys, they go to Arizona, they're focused, and then all of a sudden they're just knee deep in pussy. How hard is it for you?
I mean, I've been competing damn near my whole life, so I know when to lock in and when to have fun.
But you were in Ohio though. It's not the same. No offense. Ohio's okay. But
No, yeah. It's definitely not the same. But now Ohio State was a different animal. Like the actual campus, it was 80,000 people. Just bad bitches everywhere you look. So I mean, I'm pretty used to that.
So did you train with Logan Stiebler? Was he on your team?
Yeah, Logan was on the team with me.
Wow, what was that like?
I mean, I kind of grew up wrestling with Logan. I've known Logan since 10 years old, so it's just another friend to me. But I mean, Kyle Snyder was on the team, Miles Martin, Nathan Tomasello, the Jordan brothers. So we had some stacked teams.
Now, we talked about Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They wrestle for Ohio. Logan plays in the states of Ohio. Did you ever wrestle Logan?
Yeah, me and Mike was just talking about this. So he was my senior year. I was 52. Logan was 60. So my teammate wrestled Logan in the district finals. Dominic Abinator. I don't know if you heard of him. But, Abinator wrestled at Michigan, All-American at Michigan. I think he pinned or teched Logan.
Yeah.
In the district finals. But Logan was pretty good, though. I think he took 5th at state.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I mean, everyone keep calling them YouTubers. I'm like, they're pretty good athletes, these kids.
Yeah. For sure.
So here you are.
Logan Paul was also great in the movie Valley Girl, the remake of Valley Girl.
Yes, he was.
I ain't never seen that. I'm about to check it out.
He's just being.
You might lose your man card watching that, but I liked it.
Funny. So here we are. You're now. Are you single?
Yeah, I'm big single.
Oh.
Big single.
The little subliminal, like big single that he's just putting out there. He's got to say that.
I think you're.
I just feel like he's got a sign over his head that says single.
I think you're one fight away from the UFC. Honestly, I think if you win big, you're gonna get the call.
I agree, or maybe Contender Series. One of those. But I'm focused on tomorrow first, and then.
All right, LFA tomorrow night on UFC Fight Pass. My man Mark Martin is fighting.
What weight does Mark fight at?
Got some more eat clean, bro.
70.
70. Nice.
170. He's ready to kick some ass. Don't get distracted, Mark. Okay, you seem very angry right now. You're probably cutting weight, right?
No, I already made weight.
Oh, nice.
We weighed in this morning.
So what's your pre-fight ritual? Do you have anything that you do like?
He bangs 3 white girls.
Why do they got to be girls?
All right.
Yeah, don't be homophobic, Adam.
No real rituals. I like to listen to music. That's probably about it.
Let me get your autograph.
I don't know. I think Tom's doing another podcast right now. All right, listen, people. So where can people follow all of you guys? Grant, where can people follow you?
You know what?
Instagram. I hate Twitter. Twitter's full of cocksuckers. Follow me on Instagram.
Okay. Someone said don't be homophobic, and you see all that Twitter's full of cocksuckers. Thank you very much.
I'm not homophobic. I just hate Twitter.
Yeah, no, cocksuckers could be either men or women. Okay, we're not.
Yeah.
Good point.
Duh.
It's gender neutral as an insult.
Tom Lawler, what are you doing right now? What is Tom doing?
I'm over here, man.
Oh, why is there weird noises coming from your fucking? What's going on?
Because I got somebody else in here. I got Corey Hendricks in here.
Oh, nice.
Well,
tell Corey I said hello.
You want to look at him, Adam? You want to see my room? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
See this?
There's a PFL.
Nice.
You guys have roommates in the PFL?
No, he's got his own room, but I mean, he's the only person I'm allowed to talk to. So.
Oh, wait, no, Corey's fighting too, right? In the PFL?
I'm sorry?
Corey's in the PFL too, right? Isn't Corey in the PFL?
No, he's just fighting boredom here along with me.
Oh, nice. Corey
and we're failing.
Corey only fights in like Abu Dhabi and like Russia and shit. Fucking badass fighter. What's up, Corey?
Who y'all got? Lance or Bubba?
I got Bubba. They all have Lance. Who do you have, Mark?
Lance.
I've never seen Bubba fight. I'm gonna go with Lance. So I think Lance might gas him out late.
I mean, Bubba's beaten him 4 times in wrestling, though.
This ain't wrestling.
Yeah, it's a little different though.
A little bit, huh?
A little bit.
Got it. And then who do we like? You like Masvidal or Usman?
I'm gonna go with Usman.
And let me talk to Hamill for a second. Hamill, how's it going, man? Great fight in Bellator today. Great fight in Bellator.
Thanks, man. He was a tough, tricky bastard.
You almost beat him, though. You almost beat him.
Fuck, I was trying to knock him out. I couldn't take him down anymore. I think that Russian ass was all greased up. So I was like, well, I guess it's time to throw hands.
Now, David Michelle told me that you drove him from Phoenix to New York.
New York.
And that you took about 80 Adderalls and that you kept waking him up the whole time. Going, look, the moon.
Listen,
look, the moon.
If you're going to be fucking driving that long, something's got to be done. And then he was trying to go to sleep, and I was ready to chat. I was ready to talk about life.
You kept waking him up and saying, look, there's a tree over there. There's a tree. Is this
I don't know
true?
if it was that bad, but I was definitely chatty.
I was laughing my ass off, man. Well, you had a great fight last week. When's your next fight?
So that was the last fight of my contract, so we're negotiating a new one right now, and then probably not till the end of summer. I got 2 college teammates that are getting married this summer, so that means I got 2 bachelor parties, so wow. I'm not trying to step on the scale anytime soon.
And quit breaking my friend's tooth at the gym. My buddy said he went to the gym and you broke his tooth the first day.
Listen, I threw that knee to his gut and he dropped down like a jackass. That was his fault.
Okay, all right. Got it.
All right, man. Good
Take
talking
care.
to you guys.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So Grant, who we fighting now? You want Clay Guida? Probably not going to get Clay though, right?
I mean, I would be surprised, but they kind of sound like they're into the fight, but we'll see what happens.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Filthy Tom fighting Shoeface next Thursday in the PFL. Mark Martin is fighting there. What's the guy's name you're fighting?
Renato Vellini.
And what do you know about him?
Pretty basic stand-up. Likes to grapple, so hopefully he try to wrestle.
You seem very excited. All right, Bill Dawes, thank you very much. Mark, good luck, man. Keep kicking ass.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. You guys can follow me at Adam Comedian. You guys are the best. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.